All right, we're live.
Hey, welcome back.
We did it. We're here.
Feels like we just did one of these.
Yeah, it's been a week of these. There's some good content for the patrons.
Oh yeah, because it was like 2 days ago, and then 2 days ago before that. Yeah, you and I have been chatting a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of podcasting this week. It's been fun. It's been a good time.
Nice.
Yeah. People that
Um,
aren't subscribed, you should go do that and listen to what we had to say. There's my plug.
yeah, I mean, if we're just talking about it now, I can just go through the housekeeping because a lot of it is Patreon specific. In
Oh,
fact, all of it is Patreon specific. Um, if you're a TBP subscriber, we just put up an episode all about Cocaine Bear, which came out last week, so you can go listen to our thoughts on that movie. Um, we've decided that March's episode is going to be a look back on the entire season of the Last of Us show.
it just makes sense, honestly. Yeah.
Because it ends in not this weekend but next weekend. I'm actually watching, or I should say, I watched like the first seven episodes are out. I've watched them almost twice now because my mom came to visit and I was like, you should watch the show and we'll watch the last two together. So it's
Okay.
just kind of been on.
Yeah. Cool.
She did not find three sad.
Um okay. Like
That's
I
crazy.
I definitely see 3 being somewhat polarizing in that manner, but yeah, it's pretty heart-wrenching, I would say. I
Yeah,
thought.
she's just ice queen over there. Just was like, yeah, whatever. And I was just like, wow.
Fair enough.
It is fun seeing the like watching the first episode again with her. How many like references they make to things that are going to happen? Because there's a lot of kind of flashbacks throughout the season. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they were talking about like this place and this person already. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there. So
Sure. Yeah.
what also helps is she knows Calgary way better than I do. So like every location, she's like, "Oh, that's 8th Street. Oh, and they're just down 9th Street. That's the mall on 9th Street." And I'm just like, "Okay, yeah, cool."
Sure. Yeah.
So
There are
that's
a
also
lot of
fun.
Calgary locations. It's very cool.
Yep. On top of that, our Yakuza 0 episode of TDP Plus is now live.
Yep.
And John was there for that one, of course, before he took off to Colosseum, which is where he is away for this week.
Yes.
So people can go listen to us talk about Yakuza 0 for a while. Metroid Prime Remastered won the poll for March. That'll be the next game we're going to be talking about, which I'm quite looking forward to. It'll be the first time I've played the first Metroid Prime, so I'm excited about that. And in regards to the community submission ranking thing episode we're doing, that has ended. You cannot
Yes.
submit anything anymore. Don't even bother. I won't even look at that post anymore. We're going to record that sometime when John is back. Uh, we'll have to see what the schedules are like. But thank you to all who did submit. We got about 40 responses, maybe 41. I
Okay.
think 41
That's pretty
specifically.
good.
So a little over half. I wish we had gotten more, but I mean, some of these people just don't care.
They
And
probably weren't like listening or maybe didn't hear it. Like I wonder how many people are patrons and like have a backlog of like a few months or something that they just do.
yeah, I guess. I mean, they would have still gotten like the
The
email
emails.
notification unless they turned the email notification off.
Yeah.
Um,
Weird.
so yeah, maybe, and then they don't follow our Twitter or they're not part of the Discord or something. Yeah, I don't know, but anyways, 41 games we will be ranking from best to worst at some point in March, which should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to that. So,
Yeah.
but with that, why don't we just get into the show? Top down perspective for March 2nd. I'm Sean Booker.
Paul Fleck.
And I'll just say real quickly, I've pretty much just been playing Fire Emblem this week.
Okay.
Because
Anything new
I
on
want.
that front?
Not really. I'm just so surprised how good it is. As long as you just ignore the story, because who cares about that story? But it's just there's so much in it. There's so much voice acting. The The whole concept is like you're getting these rings that have like the spirit of previous Fire Emblem protagonists in them.
Oh, that's why I've seen like, oh, I know that guy or whatever. Okay.
Yeah. But what's really cool that shows kind of how much they put into this game is you can put those rings on anyone, and
Hmm.
those people will have unique conversations between themselves. Um, on top of that, when you use when you kind of use the summon, you're not just like summoning them into existence, you're like embodying them, and that you're kind of making a fusion between the character and the spirit. That's unique for every person. So like they've made unique fusions, and there's a ton of these rings you can equip, and everyone looks different based on who. It's not just like here's your fusion, but it's here's your fusion with this guy. Here's what your fusion looks like with this guy. Like man, and these are voice acted. So like all these unique things, they did voice acting for it too. Like they oh wow, they did so
That's
much. It's
pretty
so great.
crazy.
And just again, like the Switch game I was playing before this was Pokemon, which was
Right.
constantly just like, how can we cut corners even further and make this shittier?
Yeah.
And then it goes right into Fire Emblem where they're like, no, we're putting everything in this we can. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make this a really good product. So
Cool. Sounds like
yeah,
your
I'm
faith in
just
the Switch in general has been maybe made a little better because of this game.
this game's real good, and yeah, I keep hearing really good things about Metroid Prime Remastered. So more Switch after that. So
Sure.
looking forward to it. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really been playing new stuff. How
Okay.
about you?
I mean, check in with Atomic Heart. I've been playing more of that. And I don't know, that gameplay I think is like fun enough that I don't mind playing it. It's just every time there's like story stuff and they go talk for 20 minutes about shit I don't care about, and I'm just kind of like cringing a little bit, but I'm just kind of like spinning my wheels in it. I don't know that I'm gonna finish it at this point anymore, especially because Wolong comes out in like an hour from when we're
Oh,
recording.
does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the reviews dropped this morning seem pretty positive.
So yes, I played Wolong the Fallen Dynasty demo that they released this last weekend or whatever. So I have about 2 hours in that game, and it's one of those demos that's like you can buy it after, and like we'll continue your progress from where the demo leaves off,
Oh, that's great.
sort of thing. But I'm
I
not
should
gonna
have
do
done
that because
that.
I played it on Steam, and I'm gonna do this on Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
So like yeah, uh, that game is very cool. Especially if you like the Neo games. I would definitely say it's more Neo-esque than like a Souls-like in just how hack and slashy it feels, like more so, I would say. Faster combat in general. Some cool ideas in it. There's like, instead of a stamina system, they do what's called like a spirit system, and you're always when you're resting and doing nothing, you're always like at a neutral spirit, and you have like a gauge or like a bar or whatever. Anytime you do anything that would cause stamina drain, you drain spirit. So when you're like taking attacks, when you're blocking and stuff like that, but when you're attacking enemies and doing like special moves and stuff like that, you're gaining spirit, and you can use those like mana, that spirit like mana, to like do more devastating attacks and stuff like that. It's super cool. The way the combat in that game flows is pretty sick. The parry system is incredible because everything in that game is parryable. Even the unblockable attacks, like they kind of expect you to parry them, because the mechanic is pretty much, you get attacked by a big attack, like the dude turns red and you're like, oh shit, something bad's about to happen. You parry that. You just opened them up to take like massive critical damage from like your next attack. It's very Sekiro in that way, where it is much more about you kind of picking your moment, like going on the defense and just kind of like swinging your weapon at them to kind of like falter them a little bit or get them to do something big, parrying that attack or dodging that attack, and then going back in for like a kill shot essentially, or that does a shit ton of damage. That game is like pretty incredible in how it plays. I would say I think it's going to be pretty easy compared to the Souls games because of it. It's going to be one of those things that like the parry
It's
time,
great.
the parry timing is pretty like not the timing from what it felt like didn't feel that tight, especially with the weapon they start you off with. They start you off with kind of like almost like a parrying sword sort of thing, and there's different weapons with different percentages of like how hard it is to parry with them. So you could get a sword apparently that's like 110% like parry. It just makes that window like pretty big or whatever. You do less damage, of course, than you would with like a big spear weapon, which is like 70% parry window or something.
You have to parry.
You don't have to, but if you
Okay.
don't, the game really feels like you're playing it wrong if you don't, because you do so
okay.
little damage otherwise.
Okay, because I usually try to ignore parries every time it's an option.
Yes, it is. This is definitely one of the easiest parry systems I've ever felt in one of these games. It's very forgiving.
Okay.
And it's kind of weird because the first boss felt like I was never going to beat him until I learned like, oh, it really wants you to just wait for specific attacks, do the parry, and then like 20% of his health is gone after that, and that's how you do this. And then it felt like, okay, if you play this in that mindset, I don't think much of this game is going to be a problem for you, probably mechanically. The problem will be how much patience do you have in kind of like waiting to see what those like parry windows are for every different encounter, and then like utilizing whatever you can to go from there. Which I definitely think there is a subset group of Souls fans that were excited for this game that will not play this game or like it because of that, because it's plays very much like a Neo, like more so. So I don't know. I think it's cool for what it's worth. Also, you can't beat the price of Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, maybe just check it out, see what you think of it. You'll know within the first hour whether or not you want to keep playing, because if it doesn't click within that time, it's probably not going to. It's pretty simple, I would say.
I want to check it out as an Elden Ring fan. I
Yeah.
haven't played Neo, so I have no attachment to that. But again, yeah, Game Pass. Like, why not try it?
I guess it is like less like daunting than Neo because there aren't 3 different stances that you take or any of that stuff that Neo does. Yeah, that game seems fine. Game seems cool. There will be a group of people that fall in love with it. There will be a group of people that bounce off of it because they don't like that it's not what they were maybe thinking when people keep talking about Souls-like. But yeah, if you have Game Pass, you should just check it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I've been playing Grim Guardians, this Demon Purge. This is the classic Castlevania like game with the Gal Gun characters in it.
Okay, you had put this up for the TDP Plus poll.
Yes.
I had no idea what it was. Hearing that it's classic Castlevania, I'm very happy that it lost.
All the things you hate about classic Castlevania, if you play on easy mode, they get rid of that. There's no knockback, and you have like unlimited lives and checkpointing and stuff. So you would have been fine for what it's worth. If you like classic,
I'm just saying, there's a reason when people think of Metroidvania games, they don't think of classic Castlevania games.
Right. There was a big misnomer for a while there where people were saying this is a Metroidvania, and it is very much not a Metroidvania at all. It is classic Castlevania. So if that sounds like something, it's like a love letter to Castlevania 3 specifically, but there are like bits and pieces of other things in there as well. If that sounds like something that's interesting to you, you should probably just check it out. Like, I think you know what you're going to get into. There is the weird anime lewdness stuff later. There's not like porn or anything like that, but whatever. To get true ending, I have to collect all of the girls I saved in this castle, their panties, so that I can unlock true ending or something.
Awesome.
Right. It's Galgun. So that's that. It's pretty solid. I would say there are a lot of problems I have with parts of the game, but I wouldn't say the game as a whole I think is bad. I think it's actually quite good. I have been having pretty like a good time with it. I think I have about like 12 hours in it. Each playthrough is probably 2 to 3 depending on how much you look around or whatever, and they do kind of build in a reason why you would play through the same castle again. There's different paths you can take, and there are like story reasons of you get to the end and then something happens and the demons like there's a MacGuffin reason why they send you back to the beginning and you play through it again, but there's different dialogue and stuff going through again. So
Okay.
yeah, that game is totally fine for $20. I bought it on Switch as just a reason to have the Switch on and like to play like while watching TV or something like that. Pretty mindless.
Dude, you need a Steam Deck. Gotta live that Steam Deck life. You're shackled by the poor, pathetic console that the Switch is.
Well, no, because I don't play much things on the Switch. I made the like conscious decisions like I should just buy this on the Switch to like make a reason for that thing to exist right now, because this was before I knew Metroid was going to win for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that game is totally fine. I guess the conceit on it that is a little bit different is you play two characters that you can switch between. One is a little tankier and has a gun but does less damage but can do like continuous damage from range, and the other is much more glass cannony that does like much more damage with a melee attack. And as you go, you get different upgrades for them, and you can upgrade those upgrades. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a cool game. If you like classic Castlevania, you should check it out.
Oh. Okay.
That's it.
Good to know. All right, let's do a bit of news. Little bit of news happened. Starting off, this is a weird one. The Wolf Among Us 2 announced like, I don't know, when was it? 2 years ago? I don't even remember when it was announced. Maybe the article mentions. Anyways, Wolf Among Us 2 has been delayed out of 2023.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess, okay, after being resurrected by LCG Entertainment in 2019.
Okay.
So, I guess they started working on it 2019, not coming out until 2024. Here's my question about this.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is going to be a Telltale style adventure game.
I hope it is. Yeah.
Those they were cranking out a lot of those. Those games didn't seem to be the most complex games to build.
Yeah.
Why is this taking 5 years?
So, yes, I agree with you. The article says to avoid crunch and team burnout and to accommodate moving from UE4 to 5. I'm not a developer. I don't know. How long does it take to like transfer stuff into a new engine? Does it take 5 years?
I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know either. I understand converting engines is a big task, but again, these games seemed pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like in terms of when I think of the Telltale adventure games, when I think of any Telltale style adventure games, there is not a lot of like actual interactivity.
Right.
Other than like, well, for the next 10 minutes you get to walk around this one room we made and select some stuff. And then there's going to be like quick time events. I don't know. That's another question they just mentioned in the chat as well. How big is the dev team? So they could say we don't want to crunch, and maybe there's only 3 of them. So
Right.
I don't know. This is Telltale Games, which we don't really know what this Telltale Games looks like. It's obviously nowhere near what it used to be. But
right.
I was just kind of surprised that this amount of dev time was going into what I assumed are on the hard to simple of games and complexity. This would have been on the more simple side. But again, what do I know? Anyways, 2024 for the Wolf Among Us 2. Is this game ever coming out?
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how much of it too, I was just thinking, is like you have worked for and work for a company. How much of it is like bureaucratic? Well, we have to make sure that like this person sends in a report to this person to make sure these people get paid for like just like everything's taking time, and somebody's like, wait, why are we doing work on this games or whatever? Maybe don't pay them for a month. And they were like, okay, well,
Well, I mean, to that point, you could say that for any company.
true
So that's almost like you can remove that common denominator.
for every
Um,
company.
yeah, exactly, because like everyone's gonna have that. So like, I don't know. I don't know.
Like, what else are they doing? Are they maybe being pulled? Like, is a Wolf
What
Among
is
Us
Telltale
2?
working on?
Yeah,
I
is Wolf
I
Among
think
Us
it's the
2
only thing they're
the
doing.
back burner
Oh
thing?
no, sorry, they're doing the Expanse game.
Right. So is it just that, like, yeah, if you have time, it's Friday, like you got your thing done for the week, why don't you spend an hour like converting assets into UE5 for that Wolf Among Us thing? Like, is that what's going on maybe where it's the back burner
I
game?
mean, so like the Expanse has to be further along because
Yes.
they already have like pre-order pages up for that thing. Um,
Well, they probably started building that in UE5, whereas they were taking whatever they had before for Wolf Among Us 2 and having to convert things also.
maybe I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing though. So that's the other question. I doubt they're big enough that they're like a 2 game studio.
Right.
So like maybe it is just like, hey, 90% of us are on Expanse, and we have a small team trying to get Wolf Among Us 2 off the ground. Oh, I'm being corrected in the chat. Expanse is published by Telltale, but it's developed by Deck Nine.
Oh,
In
interesting.
terms of the development stuff, they're all on Wolf Among Us.
Yeah,
I don't know that. I don't even know what to think.
that's so weird.
I do love
Hmm.
though if you go to Telltale and you click their what games they've done, they still have like Puzzle Agent on there. They got the Wallace and Gromit and the Strong Bad cool game for attractive people. And then this is like tangential, but I was remembering this fondly recently. Do you remember Poker Night at the Inventory?
I do. Yep.
Yeah, those were weirdly cool. They made 2 of them. Yeah.
I never played the
Hell
second one
yeah.
at all, actually.
Did the second one have GLaDOS or was that the first one?
Oh my god. The first one had Tycho from Penny Arcade. It had Heavy, I
Strong Bad.
think. It had Strong Bad. Was it the Heavy
And
from Team
did Brock
Fortress?
Samson? Yeah, the heavy was in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think
Wasn't
so.
Brock Samson from Venture Brothers in it?
I think so.
Okay.
That sounds right.
And then in 2, GLaDOS was one of them, right?
Yeah, I think GLaDOS
Oh,
was too.
I don't
Probably.
remember who else was in it.
I never played it, so
Oh, here we go. 2 is Claptrap, Max, Ash, and Rock. Oh, so maybe GLaDOS was in the first one?
I don't remember that at all, but maybe.
GLaDOS was the dealer. Okay, wow. Okay.
Oh. Okay. That makes some sense then.
So like, okay, so if you were gonna like pitch what 4 characters need to be in a Poker Night at the Inventory 3,
3? Okay.
which 4 would you pick that aren't Rick and or Morty? Because we know they would be in there no matter what.
You know, I didn't even think about that, but they totally would be. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
Okay. Who's big enough? Do you just get like standard Fortnite dude?
I was thinking who like the blonde Fortnite guy.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
But the thing is though, first off, do they have a personality? Second off, is there a voice actor tied to them? Because these ones were all about them like talking to each other.
I think there is a voice actor because I think they say like voice lines,
Oh, do they?
which is
Okay.
maybe enough to count. Okay, what games do you have like Kratos in there or something? Like what are some big titles that are recent that would get people
Kratos.
going?
Okay. I could see Kratos being kind of in there. I don't know if Sony would do it, but okay, Kratos, sure.
Right. What do we have for like adventure game stuff? Adventure games are usually great for this sort of thing. Oh, you might have like a Psychonaut in there.
Like Raz?
Yeah, because I'm sure like even if they weren't asked, Double Fine would be like, "Can we be part of it?" Like that seems like something that would happen.
Okay. I mean, yeah, Raz and Kratos. Okay, we need two. Who else do we need?
Yeah, there has to be some like obvious games that have been huge that I just can't think of right now. Oh,
Well, I don't even think they need to be huge. They also don't even need to be games. Like again, they
yeah,
put
that's
in
true. You definitely need
like
the fridge from
Brock.
Atomic Heart, everybody's favorite.
Like wait, like the vendor?
Yeah, Nora.
Absolutely not. No way. I God, that'd be so terrible.
Yeah.
People are saying, let's see, Master Chief, Doom Marine, BJ Blazkowicz, and Rick and Morty. I think I would actually hate that.
That is so hilarious though, just like all
First
these
off, like
shooters.
like half of them like barely talk, and then
Yeah.
there's Rick and Morty.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
What
What's
if you got like now maybe
Mhm.
I was gonna say Spider-Man, but we already picked Kratos. We already have like
A Sony
okay, how
representative?
about this? How about this? How about the Mandalorian?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Would you put him in there?
I mean, I wouldn't, but I could if you told me that that game was coming out with him in it. Sure. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
I'm just thinking of like media properties. What am I watching recently? You know what? I know you're not probably gonna like this, but I could see like Velma being in there.
I could see Velma being in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, like that'd be a good fit. Also, like the first like female character, so they should absolutely put a female in there.
Velma. Yeah. Hmm.
LeBron James from Space Jam 2.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good.
What if you got LeBron James from Space Jam 2, and then you also got LeBron James from that crypto commercial where he's talking to a younger version of himself about being great.
Okay. So it's just all like then do we just get LeBron James from multiverses as well?
Okay, so what if we just got 4 different LeBron Jameses?
Yeah, that's what I'm going for here. Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if you got like an FMV character in there. So they had to like record all this like full motion video of this guy talking to cartoons.
Man, a rabbit would be hilarious to
A
me.
rabbit, they put Rabbit Peach in the chat. That rabbit would be pretty good. And the rabbits do talk now.
Oh shit.
So that works.
It writes itself, yeah.
You know what I would actually really love?
Hmm.
Luigi voiced by Charlie Day.
That could be okay. Yeah. That
Or
could be okay.
I would even take Jack Black's Bowser. I would also even take Keegan Michael Key's Toad.
Okay.
I just don't know if I could listen to that much Toad.
What about Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt's Mario. I think that's a boring answer. Like
What about just
Mario
Chris
himself
Pratt?
is just a boring character.
No, not Mario, just Chris Pratt.
Just Chris Pratt.
He's in everything, so why not?
I was gonna say if it's Chris Pratt, but like every time he speaks, he's like trying to do one of his characters.
Oh my god, that would be so good. And
Like,
then
hey,
saying
remember when I was
it
Star-Lord and I said
doesn't
that?
sound like this. Yeah. It's not gonna sound like that.
It's not gonna sound like that. I still love that video where he's like, "I'm working on the voice. Let's go." That's not the voice, and then it just freeze frames. That's exactly what it was.
It's the voice, yeah.
It's exactly the voice.
I could see them putting a Ninja Turtle in there.
Okay, yeah, like
Timeless.
you would probably want like Mikey, right?
Probably, yeah.
I could also see Raph being pretty good because he would also fill the same character that like Kratos would be filling.
Yes. I think we just both agree that Donnie and Leo probably aren't going to make the cut for that. Not that they're necessarily bad, especially
Can't see
Donatello.
them being. Yeah, they're not that exciting.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this next. Now someone did mention Star-Lord. I think Groot or Rocket specifically would be pretty good in there.
Oh yeah, you definitely have the MCU you could pull almost anyone from, really.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do another game news story because this one's pretty exciting. I'm actually kind of shocked that my Twitter did not explode when this came out, but Elden Rings tweeted out the new DLC has been confirmed. We got the name of it, Shadow of the Erd Tree, currently in development. There's pretty much no information about it, but I'm still surprised that new Elden Ring content hasn't been a bigger deal.
So yes, I agree, but also for me personally, because that's all I can speak for, like they didn't show anything, so I don't care yet. Like they
Just
it was
with
a
going
tweak.
with how big Elden Ring was, you would think anything new Elden Ring would have people going like, yeah.
I saw a lot of people freaking out, and the people I follow and stuff. So like,
Okay.
yeah, it just might be dependent on the people you follow, I guess. For me personally, I wasn't like super excited necessarily, just because I don't know like any info yet. But I'm gonna play that game again.
So the
That's
thing
going
is,
to
like,
happen.
I don't think I need any info if you're giving me like more story DLC.
That's the thing, is
You
that
know,
I'm in.
like
You don't
done. Yeah.
just release it. Like, you don't need to tell me this is coming. Just release it and take the money, please.
Yeah, honestly, it's like just I don't even care how much it costs. It's
Right.
because as long as it's not like the price of the full game, because
Yeah.
it won't be. Like
Right.
I'll pay whatever. Like I'm in. Like you made my favorite game of last year. Let's go. Done.
This definitely takes away from that. Remember, there was a rumor that the next thing was going to be called like Barbarians of the Badlands or something weird like that. For
Oh,
there
that
was
thing that
some
we
weird
couldn't tell
rumor.
if it was fake or not.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
I'm just never going to believe that site
Or
again.
or was that thing far enough out where they're like, we could change the name.
Oh, sure. Yeah. This
So
this definitely doesn't seem like it has anything to do with the Badlands or Barbarians, but yeah, like maybe.
well,
Again,
Shadow
we
of the
don't
Earth
know.
Tree could be about literally anything.
Yeah.
Pokemon had I don't know, like Pokemon Presents Pokemon Day or something. I didn't even know
Oh,
this was happening until I woke up and it was like already done. But they just announced like a shit ton of Pokemon stuff.
they did? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go through a few of them that stuck out to me. They're making a Netflix show called Pokemon Concierge.
I'm watching right now the trailer. Yeah.
There's nothing really in the trailer other than like a character walks on the screen and there's a Psyduck, but it's supposed to like take place in a Pokemon resort, and it's like not. It's like they're trying to expand the universe outside of the typical like Ash is gonna get the 8 badges and do the fight Team Rocket, yada yada yada. Like they're taking
Sure.
another spin at it, which I'm like, yeah, I would love to see just kind of more in the Pokemon world. When I look at Detective Pikachu, my favorite part of that movie is like the first half where they're just walking around and they're in Pokemon world.
Sure. Apparently takes place at a resort, like you said, follows the story of a concierge named Haru, and the many Pokemon that visit as guests. Sounds cute.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out, especially if it gets some good praise. We'll see what that's like.
Yeah.
Skipping down a few, Pokemon Sleep came back after years of not being talked about.
Yeah, this thing. Okay. Yeah.
So the sleep tracking app on your phone. You do some Pokemon stuff while you're sleeping. I don't know, but that's coming this summer. Like I will try this out for a night or two and see if it's worth doing.
What
Why not?
what if Pokemon Sleep was just like so a bunch of people use it for a week thinking like, "Oh, this is kind of cute." And then Snorlax is like, "Dude, you got apnea. You need to like seek help immediately for like to
Well,
fix your life." And people are like, "Oh, that's great. My life has been
yeah,
changed."
sure. Like that seems like a win-win for me.
Thanks, Pokemon.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm wondering if it's gonna like tie into like my Apple Watch or something, or if it's just gonna be the phone. I don't even really know what you're gonna do, but seems like you can get a goofy sleep, and that's a oh, I forget it. What's the name of this Pokemon? Slowpoke. Slowpoke has a goofy sleep.
A goofy sleep? Oh man, what if there was
Yeah.
a sleep app that was a very goofy sleep app with Goofy and Max?
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm in a point in my life where I miss Wake Up Club on the PlayStation Vita,
Oh man.
where you had to play mini games against other people in order to like turn the alarm off or something. Because that was awesome. And
It's a
then
pretty good idea. Yeah.
and and then now when I'm thinking of stuff that just only existed on the Vita, now I'm missing Frobisher Says,
Oh
and
man.
I
Yeah.
need to see if Frobisher Says if that like trailer is still on YouTube.
Yeah, you really like
Frobisher
that.
Says.
Yeah, I remember.
Watch that. Oh, the trailer is still there. Oh, so good. I'm gonna put this in our chat so I can go look at it later. Can you put that in the Twitch chat? Because I'm not logged in at the moment.
Yeah, sure.
Probusher says it's great.
Throw it in
Holy
a few
smokes! I don't
times.
think that team went on and made anything else.
Yeah, who does it say who
Okay,
was
they
it?
Pokemon Go Plus is a Pokemon Go app that'll like, I don't know, who cares. What's
Yeah.
more interested is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC.
Hey, did they fix that?
Is getting No, probably not.
Oh, okay.
But it's okay because Fire Emblem Engage came out, so you should probably just play that instead.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
But the 2 pieces of DLC coming out just like they did for Sword and Shield, where it's kind of a part 1 and then part 2 to continue the story. Part 1 is called The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, and
Okay.
part 2. Oh, sorry, that's what the entire thing is called. Part 1 is
Okay.
called the Teal Mask, and part 2 is the Indigo Disc. I guess it'll add some more Pokemon as well. Part 1 is coming in fall. Part 2 is in the winter. I don't know. I can't even remember how much they cost last time. I think maybe $30 for the pair.
Part 1 players will visit the land of Kitakami as a part of a school trip. In the second part, players will be exchange students at Blueberry Academy. Legendary
One thing
Pokemon.
that pointed out that jumped out to me about those two areas is they are separate new areas. So I wonder if they're going to try and make smaller ones that run better.
Yeah, and that like fix a lot of the problems people have. That's not a bad idea, honestly. Why not?
Yep. But that's also what they did in Sword and Shield as well, is they made a new separate area, so it's not totally unheard of.
Gotcha.
Cool, that's a ways off, so I guess I'll wait for that.
New legendary Pokemon, Ogrepon and Terrapagos, I guess. Weird. All right.
Speaking of Nintendo came out and confirmed they won't be at E3. The quote here is, "Since this year's E3 show didn't fit into our plans, we have made the decision to not participate." Okay.
Didn't we know that?
I think it was assumed.
Okay.
I don't think
yeah,
it was
maybe.
official, but anyways, now it's definitely official, so there you go.
Gotcha. Okay.
Couple other Nintendo stories real quick. Metroid Fusion is getting added to the Game Boy Advance
Hell yeah.
Nintendo Switch Online service on March 9th. It's also the same day as the next wave of Mario Kart DLC. But that is a good Metroid. People really like Fusion.
I mean, I really like Fusion, yeah. I wonder if it holds up.
Yeah.
I hope so.
And the Mario movie is coming out 2 days earlier. It's going to do a Wednesday release.
I'm still mad that they didn't release it March 10th for Mario Day. Seems like the easy layup, especially since March 10th is a Friday. But whatever.
Is it a Friday? Oh, man.
They missed out so bad.
Well, it was originally, wasn't it supposed to be December?
Oh, yeah, it was. Like, it should have been out already, but whatever.
Yeah, so I probably won't see it on a Wednesday. I'll probably still see it on the weekend, but I will see the Mario Bros. Movie. Promise you that.
Also, the dev of Frobisher says made Ho Hokum, apparently.
Oh.
And then dissolved after that in 2015. I
There you
remember people talking about that game. Never played it myself.
Same. Let's do some questions. If you want to send a question in, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. Dead writes the first question here. Similar to the NES, SNES, and PS1 classics, Genesis double dipped. What would you want to see on a PSP classic?
Oh, this is easy. Luminous.
I think Luminous has to be on there.
It's
I mean,
the
it
first
wasn't
one.
like specific to the PSP, but
And Patapon?
it was
Did
pretty
people
good.
like Patapon?
Patapon should be on there. I mean, so do you put just one of them, or do you put all three?
Oh, you probably just put all three. Go big or go home, right?
You do. You put Loco Roco on there.
You put Loco Roco on there. Loco Roco is fantastic. I think you put Crisis Core on there, even though people like...
Really? Even though there's a remaster that came out, you're going to put the worst one on there?
Well, that's why you can put it on there, because there's like one that people could buy on other platforms if they wanted to.
Okay. So you put both the Metal Gear games on there, right? Do you put the Metal Gear Acid games on there?
I mean, personally, yes, you do. But I definitely would understand if somebody did not.
I think you put like the first one of both.
Sure. Yeah, probably. You put Ghost of Sparta on
How
there.
many games do you put on there? I can't remember how many are. Is there like there's like 20 usually, isn't there? This is a
Yeah.
lot, right?
Yeah. You can put
You
a
were
bunch
saying
on there.
Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter was like the system for Monster Hunter was the PSP.
You definitely need the Freedom Unite games on there. Yeah, for sure. You put Ghost of Sparta on there because that's the only way to play that canon God of War game.
There's 2 God of War games on the PSP.
What was
Chains
the other
of
one?
Olympus.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, you're right. It is Chains of Olympus. You're right.
I think that's the one I played. I think Ghost of Sparta was the second one. I don't think I played that one.
Yeah, no, you're right. They're both on there. You put both on there, I think. That's an easy one.
That's an easy one because yeah, Sony totally owns that.
Yep.
Just trying to think. Like, I think I have my. I'm not gonna go. I have all my PSP games here, but I'm not gonna go over there and look at them.
I think we got the big ones.
Daxter would be a good one. Yeah.
Okay.
There was also Secret Agent Clank. Was that PSP specific?
Don't know.
I'm gonna look up PSP exclusive games and see what we're missing.
I think you should put Persona 3 on there.
Okay. So based off what we've said, would you buy this?
The thing is that I never had a PSP, so I would just for a way to play a lot of these games I missed. I didn't play either of the God of War games on there, for example.
Okay. I mean, I don't think you need to.
Right, but if this was like a $100-$200 thing that's just like there's 20 games including like 5 that you've never played in your favorite series, why not?
Okay, so I found an article from thegamer.com. PSP exclusive games like that you like need to play before the store closes. So this came out in 2021. That seems a lot. It was still up in 2021. Maybe they like re-updated this article or something. Killzone Liberation was on there.
Okay.
Killzone Liberation also the only game demo I ever got from being part of like the PlayStation Magazine subscription where they sent you demo UMD discs in the mail.
Right.
Surprisingly, they put Jeanne d'Arc on here, which was a tactics game that I didn't know anyone besides me knew about. What else do they have in here? Resistance Retribution? I don't even remember this game. I guess there was a Little Big Planet on the PSP.
Okay.
Valkyria Chronicles 2.
Oh, okay. Sure. Nothing else sticking out?
Nothing else is jumping out to me because I have like a list of games on the PSP, but they're not like exclusives. So
Gotcha.
I mean, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, that was also on the DS, but I guess you could put that on there.
Yeah. I think we named a good portion of the ones that you should have just off the top of our heads anyway.
Yeah, and to answer my own question, no, I don't think I would buy this.
Okay.
Because I have most for the PSP.
Right.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
I think I'm good.
What was the best Patapon?
I could not differentiate the multiple Patapons. I don't know if I even played all 3 Patapons. I may have only played the first one. And they released some of them on like the PS3 or 4 in the last few years. They did like a Patapon remastered. So it's easier to play some of those games.
Oh, this was, yeah, I would put the Third Birthday on there, which was Parasite Eve 3. That was so bad that they took out the Parasite Eve branding and name because the writer of that book wanted nothing to do with Square Enix or wanted them to have access to his IP anymore after 2. Yeah, that thing's a piece of shit, but I would put it on there just because why not?
Okay.
Next question comes from Rasterman. You were tasked to do a compromised fix to a game of your choice. That is, you can fix 3 things about it: gameplay, story, progression, graphics, etc. But to compensate them, 3 others have to be downgraded. For example, In Wind Waker, Link can now jump on his own accord, but can only run at half speed.
Oh man.
My fix for every game in the Souls series is I want to be able to jump after feeling how good that felt in Elden Ring. So I'm wondering what I would take away to do that.
I mean, I don't even know. I guess we have to just kind of ignore the fact that if you just added a jump, it would ruin a lot of the geometry in that game because you would get to places that you're not supposed to.
Well, so Dark Souls had a jump. It was just shitty because you had to double tap the run button while you were already mid dash, and it felt shitty and unwieldy. So it wouldn't be too bad to put in, but yes, being able to just push a button and jump would definitely lead to more breaking the game for sure.
Because in Wind Waker, for example, you would probably break some stuff since Link can only typically jump off ledges.
Totally right. What would I take away from Souls to allow that? Oh, I would put in encumbrance. I would take away just being able to hold as much as you want in your inventory.
Well, so then what are you? Wait, so you're gonna add the jump and take away encumbrance? That's two positives.
No. Add encumbrance. Take away the ability to not have.
Doesn't it have? Well, I'm only going off Elden Ring. Elden Ring has encumbrance.
No, it doesn't. You can carry as much things in your inventory as you want.
But it slows you down.
If it's on you. I'm talking about literally things you pick up and you're not wearing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Encumbrance. I could see that because there's most of the stuff if it wasn't on me, I'm not using it. So why even carry it?
Yeah, it's definitely a bad thing that is totally workaroundable, but it also kind of makes sense in the idea that if you're carrying a bunch of shit, you wouldn't be able to jump anyway. So
yeah. I don't think I have a great answer for this. I mean, everyone knows I like double jumps, but I can't really think of a game where it's I feel like I would just ruin the game, and I don't want that.
What if you put a
also,
double
I don't
jump
think
in
I would
every Mario?
Sure. I mean, yeah.
What would you take away?
I mean, I mean, as long as they can design around it and doesn't make things too easy. But in not Galaxy, Odyssey, when you learned to do the triple jump with the hat dive and stuff, that was just awesome going around that and learning all the new things.
Sure.
I don't think I would ever take it over you run at half speed. God, that would be miserable.
Yeah, that's not a compromise. That's breaking your fucking game, man. That sucks.
Yeah, that would suck. Absolutely. Suka writes, the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection has set a new bar in game compilations, and similar great ones released alongside, such as the TMNT one. Now, what is the theoretical collection that is both feasible and could beat Atari in lore and gameplay? Oh, man.
For compilations? Oh, Neo Geo easily would be able to do a lot of shit like that.
I mean, so in order to even get close to it, because you could have a compilation of anything, and they could present it well. But what makes the Atari one so good is because of how old it is. That there's all these people you can go back and talk to. So Neo Geo is old, but it didn't last as long as Atari. There's no new stuff to pull from.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sure.
But yeah, you could still do that because you could talk to those people. They could do the thing for Atari 50 where they made some new games in the same vein or kind of remixed them.
Yeah.
But you could easily do Nintendo. Sega would be a good one as well.
Yeah. Those seem like the easy answers, but I mean, for a reason. Atari's in such a weird position that way.
Atari's in a super weird, and the Atari collection doesn't even get into some of the modern day stuff where they're Atari Hotel. So
sure, yeah,
it gets super weird. But even back then, Atari went through so many weird things, and it also helps that they were kind of the first.
Yeah.
So when you're starting that thing out, it's yeah, this is what we kind of thought an arcade machine would look like, and it's this is nonsense. This looks like something from the Jetsons.
One on Treasure would be fantastic because I love those games, and also they've always kind of done some really interesting game designs with what they've been tasked to do. I think that would just be
No, we got
interesting.
this. No, we got this with Rare Replay, but I would love a Atari 50th style take on the
On
Rare
Rare.
Replay where we got all the because they have so many different styles of games.
Yeah.
And they went through like a lot of weird stuff. Like, they did Perfect Dark, but they also did Viva Pinata.
Yeah. And just like in the industry, they had such weird things happen to them. Like, yeah, it would be super interesting for sure.
Yeah, like basically like eventually getting like purchased by Nintendo. And then they just made Donkey Kong games for a while. And like,
Yeah.
that would be a cool one. I could see, I don't know if it would get boring because the games are all kind of the same, but maybe like a Final Fantasy collection.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be. I would love to hear some stories on just people that give me the guy that was there from 1 to now 16. He's like a janitor or something, and like he's been part of every development and what he's like gone through.
Well, what I'd love to hear though, because one was the whole reason it's called Final Fantasy is that was their last game. They were ready to
Yeah.
go bankrupt, and they were just putting out their final thing. So that would be really cool to hear a bunch of stories at the beginning, and then it'd be very cool to get their perspective as they keep making sequels. Like, yeah, so we made another one, and we thought we were gonna tank after that, and then we made a third one, and then we the company was saved, blah blah blah. So that would be kind of cool. And then it would, by the time you get up to the modern day stuff, it would be a completely different company.
Yeah. That would be cool. Oh, you could do Namco. Namco is basically like Atari.
Sure.
They're old Japan arcadey stuff that still exists.
And similar vein, although it would end in such a weird, like modern day point, would be Konami.
I would be very interested to see that story and what if they could
have a
tell
bunch.
why
They
it
have a
went to
huge
shit.
breadth of games. Like they're
Yeah.
so different, and then there'd be this whole arc of like, Metal Gear, and Kojima,
Dude,
and
the
then it's just
90s
gonna
in
be like,
general.
and then
Yeah.
we got rid of all the stuff and went into like sports.
Yeah.
And now we don't, and now we just make pachinko machines. So that would be so weird to just see that arc.
Wasn't that the company also that was like, you know what, we're gonna get really into spas as well? They bought a bunch of
Well,
like
they did health clubs.
health clubs.
That's
Yeah.
what they did. Sorry, that's that sports is what came to my head. But yeah,
That would be super interesting, honestly. Yeah, Squaresoft and Enix just in general, their merge and everything, that would be pretty cool.
trying to think if there's any other kind of Western ones or non-Japanese ones, because the Japanese ones just seem easy because they have the history there.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, and we did say Rare. But is anything other than Rare?
That's old.
It's hard because a lot of the Western stuff, it just seems too new. Like, even if I said something like Ubisoft, it's like, I don't know, all their games seem just kind of too new to do any of this.
Yeah. I mean, probably Blizzard. There's a lot of shit at Blizzard that.
Okay, sure. I could see Blizzard. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a good one. They've done a ton. You know what would be a kind of an interesting one is if you did Epic.
That would be super interesting. Honestly, like, this is just good. I mean, fuck, we do a video game podcast. Give me the behind the scenes for any fucking company out there. I'm going to watch that.
Have you heard of Psych Odyssey from Double Fine? They put out 40 episodes about
what is it, like 20 to 30 hours of like content on that one game development, basically.
On that one game. It's so good. I think I'm like 8 episodes in. It's so good. It is absolutely worth watching. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that's like, what the question is like, I guess the question is actually what could beat Atari and lore and gameplay, but I started reading it as like, what else would you want? And it's everything. I want it all.
Yeah. Could you imagine if Psychonauts like 1 or 2 was like your favorite game? How that person must be feeling when that documentary came out?
Yeah, it's neither
just
of them
the
are
idea
mine,
of like,
but I loved it.
just the idea of like, pick your favorite game Here's 30 hours of behind the scenes about your favorite game.
Totally.
Like, holy smokes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super cool. That's why I also liked Indie Game the movie. Just I like the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. Hey, the whole No Clip on YouTube.
Nope.
There you go. That's all
One
that.
of the best channels. Yep. Phantom Aegis right.
BioWare would be pretty interesting. I just wanted to put that out. BioWare would be really interesting.
Yeah, BioWare would be super, super interesting. That story takes a weird, depressing turn at some point too. Yeah, that would be neat.
But now it's like on the upswing. So,
I hope so.
You know,
yeah.
but here's the other thing: is like in the entire 50th anniversary collection, you had access to those. You could play the games as well. And it's
Right.
like I don't even want to. And in a lot of the
Right.
modern ones, it's like if you do a BioWare one, it's like I don't need another copy of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. I don't need another copy of Anthem. Like I just want the like documentary part.
Totally. Yeah. Just want the documentaries. Phantom Aegis writes, "Oh, TDP crew. In an alternate universe, TDP is not known as a podcast, but is a band. So my question is, what genre of music would you all agree to do, and what would this TDP band be called?"
I'm trying to think like what John would be into. I feel like the only like overlapping musical interest of the three of us would be like ska.
Oh no, we would be a ska band? That's like the worst.
And I'm not even like that into ska, but
yeah.
it's like okay, I'll at least do it.
Oh no. Okay.
It's like better than if we were like a country rock band or something.
Yeah, that would be interesting. None of us like country, I don't think, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was just
Yeah.
trying to think of like other genres, and it's like I just don't know enough. Or it's like I can tolerate ska, and I know John's really into ska, and I feel like you could tolerate ska.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's just
Yeah, there you go.
When I hear like you're gonna be in a ska band, I like cringe a little bit in my soul. But like, yeah, I could do it, I guess.
There's two kinds of people in the world. There's the people that cringe when they hear they have to be in a ska band, and then there's someone who's so fucking ecstatic and they can't wait to get their trumpet out.
And that's the person I want to listen to, though, is the thing. Like,
sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I want to listen to the TDP band because, like, barely any of us can play, or I don't know. I can't play an instrument, so. I feel like we would still. Why wouldn't we call it top-down perspective? Like that's fine.
Yeah, like it'd be TDP still, probably.
Yeah. I feel like the only thing I could have a chance at playing is the drums, based on playing enough Rock Band over the years. But that's about it.
Okay, cool.
So I feel like I could like sneak my way into playing enough of a rhythm with a drum kit. Someone would be like, okay. I can't do that with a guitar because Guitar Hero does not translate.
Sure. Yeah.
VGC Kenny writes, when the Activision buyout happens, assuming it does, you get a message from them. They've greenlit Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4, and they want you to be in it. Aside from your model, you're allowed to add two things. One, a new trick that players can do after beating your mission. It doesn't have to be realistic if that helps. And two, you get to pick a song that will be in the game. What is your trick, and what song do you add?
Okay. Oh my god. Like, what? The trick is really hard to think of, actually. What the hell do I do?
It doesn't have to be realistic. So mine's going to be called, like, the Rayman. And my arms and legs and my head blow off my body.
Oh,
and then come back to and then while they're off, my torso spins around, and then my arms and limbs come back together.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Man, if we're just talking about like video game things that we like,
yeah, that's what the show is.
Yeah, I mean, mine would be like a double jump.
So you go off the jump, and then at some point in the arc, you go up again a bit higher.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I would actually argue in Tony Hawk, since the whole thing is like you hold down X and then you release X at the top of the jump, you're kind of doing a double jump. Because you're
Yeah,
not just
already.
using momentum like in real life, you're actually jumping off of the lift.
Man, it depending like how good you are, if you do like a sick ollie, you're kind of doing a real life double jump as a skater because you're using the board to push yourself up and then you're like kind of floating up above the board for a second to slam back down.
But that's still the same momentum as pushing the board up, so isn't that just one jump?
Yeah, but it's cooler if you call it a double jump.
Okay, sure.
Song that would be in the game. No One Knows by Queens of the Stone Age. Love that song.
I remember the name of it. It's by Brand New. It's like, is it The Archer's Bows Have Broken? Archer's Bows. Yeah, by Brand New. It was in Burnout Paradise. I think that would fit pretty perfectly.
Cool. Final question from Hebrew Lantern. What is the most beautiful sight in a game? Alternatively, what is the pretty game? Most beautiful sight is the ending. The credits.
What a cop-out answer.
Done. Game is done.
That's
Feels good.
What a cop-out. I'm trying to... Okay. What initially came to my head was the sand surfing scene in Journey. When you're going like in front of the columns and you have like the sunset happening and it's all orange and shimmery.
I have a more realistic answer for this because I'm a sucker for any time a game does a silhouette, especially as a 2D game, of just like the foreground and like characters.
So Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, when you're running up the avalanche and it's all silhouetted.
So yes, but I've never played that game. I've seen screenshots of that.
You should.
But there's other games that I can't remember off the top of my head that do similar stuff. Trek to Yomi does a few parts that are kind of cool that way. Limbo is kind of that whole style.
That whole game is that, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. What's the prettiest game?
That's a hard question.
Yes.
Oh my god, the prettiest game. Like, that's also like, how do you even like classify prettiest? Like, Ori comes to mind. Ori's extremely pretty.
Yeah.
That Journey comes to mind too. But then like, Boina's Blob is very pretty.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Then again, like God of War Ragnarok is one of the nicest looking games I've ever seen.
I really like, one of the things that I like the most about like the Forza Horizon games is some of those locations that are kind of like realistic-ish are phenomenal. Those are great.
Yeah. They mentioned Uncharted. Uncharted is gorgeous. Last of Us also looks great. Like it's like pretty. Is that like from an artistic standpoint, from a technical standpoint?
Right.
Like, I just have an interest in like cartoony looking stuff. So like Ori definitely jumps out to me, and I mentioned Boina's Blob.
I think Chris Tales is fantastic looking.
Chris Tales has a fantastic art style. Absolutely.
Ghost of Tsushima scenery is phenomenal. Yes, it's very good.
Yeah, that's an insane question. There's no answer for that.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to send in a question, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
Grim Guardians Demon Purge.
And mine is Fire Emblem Engage.
Sweet.
And with that, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.